Oh, awesome. This is one of my favorite stories ever. First off, shout out Scott. He is a real one, and he is a very, very nice human being, and I love him. He started following us on Instagram last year around, I want to say September. He found us on Instagram. He started following us. He would periodically like some of our shit. And it wouldn't just be the memes he would like. He would like something if I posted a live clip of us. He would like it. He would like some clips of our upcoming music and stuff like that.
Hey, what's up, Vox&Hops heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox&Hops Metal Podcast, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians, talk all about their lives and music while sharing killer craft beers. This Vox&Hops episode is presented by Heavy Montreal. Heavy Montreal are Montreal's premier metal promoter. If you are ever in Montreal and you are looking for a show to go to, trust me when I say that Heavy Montreal will have you covered. They put on a bunch of shows all year long, and they are all simply amazing. I'm beyond stoked to have Heavy Montreal behind the Vox&Hops Metal Podcast. Now, before we jump into today's episode, I'd just like to ask you to follow the Vox&Hops Metal Podcast on the podcast platform of your choice. But more than that, I would love for you to tell a friend about the podcast. If there's someone in your life that just loves metal and craft beer, well, you should definitely let them know that the Vox&Hops Metal Podcast exists. You could tell them that I have in-depth conversations about metal while drinking craft beers, and I have over 450 episodes that they can enjoy. If you would encourage one of your craft beer-loving metalhead friends to become a brand new Vox&Hops head, that would be something that I would truly appreciate. Now, today on the podcast, I'm very stoked to be with Austin Haze of Heavy Hitter. Get ready, everyone. This is Vox&Hops episode number 467.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
What's up, everyone? Today I'm with Austin Haze of Heavy Hitter. Very, very nice to be with you. This is it's a pre-hang, basically, is what's happening, because we're going on tour together in October. That leads into November with Carnifex and the Necomanteum Part II tour. We're going to have a lot of fun, and I wanted to reach out to everyone as a part of this package just to get to know people, chat about it, promo the tour. It made sense to me. Austin, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's Vox&Hops, and I love drinking beer, and I got a beautiful beer here that I want to share with the world right here because it's something I'm proud of. But what are you going to be drinking on your side today? I saw you take a sip of something. It's Vox&Hops.
Well, I'm unfortunately in the car, so I'm not drinking, but I have a lovely caramel iced latte right here.
Oh, snap.
Beautiful.
How is that? Is that good for your vocal cords, the caramel iced lattes?
I would not say so, but it is a very delicious treat, and that is something that I enjoy thoroughly.
Hell yes. On my side, I'm drinking a cool beer that I sort of made, but I had nothing to do with making it. It's my concept. A few weeks ago, probably a month ago at this point when the episode drops, we had Vox&Hops Haze Wars, which is presented by Yakima Chief Hops. Yakima Chief Hops is a hop producer in the Yakima Valley of the States, and they sponsored this event, and that means that they gave all of the hops for free to 5 breweries. They had to use their NZ hop line, which are New Zealand hops. They had Motueka, Nelson Sauvin, and Riawaka hops, and they had to make their best IPA. So 5 breweries went head-to-head, and this is the one from Wills, and they're a young brewery from up here in Montreal. They're making great, great beers, and they won the category of best appearance. They did not win the overall, but it is a great beer. 6.5%. The Wills IPA number 7, because they number their IPAs, because they can't come up with names. Wouldn't that be nice to do that with songs? This is song number 87. But that's what they do. I'm going to pour this out, and I would love to hear about your very first beer, if you've ever drank a beer. If you do drink beer, let's just start with that.
Yes, I do drink beer. I'm not a big beer drinker as I used to be. As I gotten older, it's not my go-to drink anymore. But I think I started drinking beer at the ripe age of 16 or 17. I believe that was a Bud Light. It was a Bud Light. It was a Bud Light beer.
Hell
and that
yes.
But I used to drink those all the time. That was like my go-to. That was like my go-to when I was a kid, pretty much.
They're easy. They go down smoothly, and they don't make you feel too bad the next day.
No. Oh, yeah, no, not anymore. No. Back then, I probably drank too much of them. That was the problem. Probably.
It was a quantity thing.
Yeah. But it used to be a party animal back in the day, high school parties, Bud Light. And then I think I gradually moved on to Yingling.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had taste. I knew I knew a good beer at this point. You know what I mean?
I've crushed a bunch of Yingling when we roll through Texas. They're a Texan brewery, I want to say.
I don't think they sell it everywhere.
Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe I'm confusing with Lone Star. Lone Star is definitely from Texas. I could be wrong about the Yingling. I take that back.
I don't know which state I was in. I was in a state, can't remember off the top of my head, but they didn't have any commercial beer. I wouldn't say, like, within the area, at least. I can't remember where I was at, but they only sold like local brewery beer at most of the bars and stuff. I think it might have been, I could be wrong. I don't think it was Atlanta. I don't want to say Atlanta because that doesn't sound right. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool because he had a massive selection of stuff that was locally made instead of like just your typical Coors Light, Bud Light, Yingling, you know, Shock Top, you know, whatever.
Shock
Blue Moon.
Top, yes. Blue Moon is actually one of those beers that got me a gateway beer into craft beer. I remember it was Summer Slaughter 2008, and I've told this story so many times on the podcast. We were playing at the Old Masquerade, and me and Christian Donaldson from Cryptopsy, we went to this little store just around the corner. We bought a 6-pack of Blue Moon and Sierra Nevada, and that was like eye-opening experience on that Summer Slaughter tour. And then the rest of the tour, we just drank natural Natty Lights because they were so goddamn cheap, and we played so early that we just crushed far too many beers every single night. What was that moment where you said you used to be a party animal? What was that snap that changed you into becoming hypothetically a more responsible adult?
I would say music. Ironically, I as weird as that sounds, I kind of quit music for 5, almost 6 years. I was in high school, played in deathcore bands, like post-hardcore bands, stuff like that in high school. I only did screaming vocals. I never did any guitar, drums, anything like that. But after high school, I tried to do the band thing, and the scene I was in, it's kind of like a city outside of West Palm Beach, Florida. Small town. The scene used to be popping back in 2008, 2007. And then around 2010 to 11, 15, something like that, it just gradually died. And I gave up music, and I tried to do shit for 5 years as like the normal life. And I was partying all the time too. Like from that point, and I was just like 9 to 5, get drunk, you know, smoke weed all the time. I still smoke weed all the time. That's definitely happening. But drinking though, no, I used to drink almost every night, and it would be out like at a bar, house parties, whatever. And when I think I was about 25, 26, I quit my job, got into music again, because I was a manager at a Domino's, and I was working like crazy hours. I was working like 60 hours a week.
Holy shit, at a Domino's.
Yes. It was good money.
Take care of your employees, Domino's. They shouldn't be doing over 40 hours.
Yeah. And it was salary, and it was a bunch of shit with that. But I was trying to go to college at the time as well. And it all kind of hit the fan at once that I didn't want to do any of those things. And I was in a toxic relationship, whatever. Got out of all that, started a band, started Heavy Hitter.
Wow.
And that was 2017, very, very
Holy
late.
Shit.
Yeah. Got out of all that, just quit the normal life, and I was like, let's do a band again. Actually, there was one band before that, but I didn't really count it. It only lasted a few months. I think it was some post-hardcore band called Phantom Dog, something ridiculous. It was more of a joke and just something to pass the time. But then I realized, yeah, I think I want to do this again. And then from that band, I met Dane, our current guitarist. He's the OG guitarist. And we started Heavy Hitter. And It's been like that since. Me and him are the OG members. But it's been like that since 2017. And as soon as we started playing shows outside of Port St. Lucie and like going to Orlando, I acquired this practice space that was like a storage unit. And I was throwing DIY shows there for the local scene and stuff. It was a lot of fun. We almost got kicked out several times because of fights and stuff.
Don't fight at shows, people, please. It's just you're taking away stuff from the scene. Is really what you're doing. You're not proving anything.
Just mosh and have fun, and you don't have to fight each other. I promise you, it's not going to be that deep. But we got away with it, and I don't know. I feel like it was around that period I stopped caring about. I stopped having FOMO, maybe I would say, about what are my friends doing? What are these people doing? What is it? I started my focus just changed, and I was really in love with being in a band again. And I was like, I want to do this all the time. You know what I mean? So my goal, around, I just turned 32 on Friday.
Oh,
so
happy belated.
Thank you. Thank you. I was 26, 25, 20. I was 26. So I just decided I want to do this, and I wasn't going to stop until I made it happen. And it was a lot of learning, but it did get me out of my party phase. It got me out of hanging out with the wrong people, toxic friend groups, stuff like that. And it just aligned my focus, and somehow I'm here. Somehow it got me here.
You did good. It's how you went through a bunch of shit to build something that now you're living. And then now you just get to hang on and enjoy the ride, but you got to keep fighting to keep it there.
Absolutely.
What did you learn at Dominos that you've applied to being in a band? Is there any skills that you acquired doing all that work at Dominos for 5 years that works in a band setting?
I didn't ever think that fucking job would teach me anything but it taught me leadership. It taught me managing, people's lives, because I do everything. And I don't do it. I take that back. I don't do it.
They're gonna listen to this and be like, motherfucking Austin.
But I self-manage. We don't have a manager. I do all the manager stuff, you could quote unquote say. Chris does most of our merch designs, and then everybody writes all the music together. But regards to social media, booking, everything like that, we do have a booking agent, but everybody comes to me as the man, like they would a manager,
the main contact of the band.
Yeah, main contact. Yeah. So it's Domino's. I was the manager there, and it kind of taught me, especially with scheduling, because you have to be accommodating with everybody. You got to get everybody together to practice, to write for music videos and all this stuff. So it just, I don't know, when we started doing this stuff and things started getting a little bit more serious, even a few years ago, when we realized what we wanted to do with this project, and we were on top of our schedules, practicing, writing, stuff like that. I kind of noticed that, Domino's did teach me a lot, and it taught me a lot about hard work. You're going to go through some shit, you know what I mean? But it's going to be better on the other side. You know what I mean? You go through a Friday night rush, you have 250 pizzas on the screen, something crazy like that. And, at the end, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. You guys are going to get through it. As long as you guys work as a team, it's going to be good. And that teamwork is the biggest thing. I understand that everybody in Heavy Hitter can't do what everybody else does, and everybody has their strong suits. And I really, really love to play on those strong suits. You can't expect yourself out of everybody else in the band. You know what I mean? You can expect what they can do. You know what I mean? They can do a lot, and they can do things that you can't do.
Which is surprising, and that's cool when those pop up, though. But being in a band and then you guys doing it for... You were talking about the OG, but you've been a band for, in the scheme of Cryptopsy's career, let's say, not the longest time. But anyways, I'm approaching my 17th year as the singer of Cryptopsy, and I'm still the new singer. So you do... There must have been arguments back in the day, hypothetically, of you guys expecting something from someone and then being like, you just learned that that's not this person's strong suit. And it's something that it's like a relationship. It's a huge, giant relationship when you're in a band, and everyone has their strengths, and you got to play with the strengths and expect the best from each person within those strengths, as you mentioned.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And if more people, I feel like a lot of people realize that more, because I've been in bands where someone tries to control everything, you know what I mean? And I get someone,
unless you're Devin Townsend or something like that, I don't know.
Yeah. And, sometimes I'm not saying that music is a form of art, so it's subjective and its success is subjective. You know what I mean? You can, in almost any way, there's not a specific formula for it to work for you. So I see some bands where there's guys like that who are controlling everything and the bands have made it. But I always looked at something like that and I didn't want to be that band. I wanted there to be teamwork.
Good for you.
Yeah.
No, it's important. And it's a lot, like running a band or doing most of the day-to-day, as you're mentioning, you take on, is a lot. And it's stuff that people don't see.
Yes.
Most of the time, as opposed to writing. I'm talking from experience right now. As opposed to writing, and we're deep in it right now, like writing an album, recording an album. Chris handles a lot of that. The day-to-day stuff falls on other people in the band, and it's stuff that just doesn't get seen and hypothetically, I keep saying hypothetically today, and keeps being less appreciated maybe by other members of bands because it's stuff that just happens.
Exactly. But I don't, I know exactly what you mean, and trust me, I've been in a band with someone who made it clear that they didn't feel appreciated because they were doing those things. And I was kind of like, well, you just got to let us know, if you need some help. But for me, I don't feel unappreciated because I know it needs to get done. And I know, like I mentioned before, they do things, I'm doing things they're not able to do right now. They don't have the time to do it. They have different schedules than I do. I am able to make my own schedule. So I don't mind doing those things, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like is it like
shipping out 300 pre-orders? Because that's what you just did like a few weeks ago.
That's one of them. But I know that with my schedule and everything, everyone else is working a job, and I do just DoorDash and Uber Eats on an electric bicycle.
Really?
I have an e-bike. Yeah, I live right outside of downtown Orlando. And
do you ever get called and go back to that Dominos that you used to work at?
No, that one's in West Palm Beach.
Okay. Because that'd be a full circle weirdness right there.
Oh, it would be. It'd be like, yeah, hey guys, making the dream work.
I am a rock star, by the way. This is just the other job.
Side gig. This is the side gig.
Talk to me about, this is a classic question here, the Vox and Hops question. The soundtrack of your youth when you were growing up in your parents' guardian's house, what music was playing when you were not in control of the radio? What music did your parents or guardians listen to?
Oh, God, this is such a good question. See, I'm a 90s kid, 90s mom. She played Sade. She played Enigma, that first album.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She played Celine Dion. She got me into The Who. She actually got me into classic rock. She was the one who did it. She, in her youth, used to go to concerts like Led Zeppelin.
So cool.
Yeah, she used to go to all of them as when she was younger, growing up in the 70s. In I think Pennsylvania. No, I'm sorry, New Jersey. And I remember she gave me my first cassette player, like a little Sony cassette player. We were gonna go see my grandparents in New Jersey, and she gave me a bunch of her old cassette tapes, and it was like The Who, Led Zeppelin. There was some other ones too. I can't remember some off the top of my head, but the Beatles. I distinctly remember those. And it got me into classic rock. Like I started out listening to classic rock in the rock thing, I would say. Like I really got into it as I got older, and I didn't really dive into like the more modern metal world until I think my teen years.
Hell yeah. So you had such a strong foundation of where everyone was coming from, you knew you had all the, it took me forever to get into the Beatles. And now that I'm into the Beatles now, I'm like, oh, that's where this band came from. And so you already had that vocabulary, that musical vocabulary, thanks to your mom's cassette collection.
Yes. And then my dad was the complete opposite. He was Christian rock.
Wow. Okay.
Gospel. Yep. They didn't live, they were separated. So it was two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But he was into Christian rock, more modern metal too, like Creed. I think he got me into Creed.
My Own Prison, it was a banger.
The other band after Creed, Alter Bridge.
Yeah,
that was one of his.
Mark Tremonti. He's a ripping guitarist. Yeah. Miles Kennedy. You can't go Miles. He's a great vocalist.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
One of the greats of our time. Yeah.
Alter Bridge was great. Yeah.
I agree.
No, yeah, he got me into all that stuff. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for my parents, I would say. That's their taste.
You got into metal later, you mentioned. What would have been that first band that really resonated with you?
It's going to be funny. It was actually the band that got me into, like, the scene, screaming, was Chiodos. And that's funny enough because I was 14. I just moved from my dad's house. And my dad, he was kind of hard on, like, me exploring myself, I guess. Like, you know, he wanted me to have a crew cut. He didn't like, you know, he was okay with me skateboarding, but he didn't want me hanging out with rocker kids because he thought they were.
You would go down the bad path.
Yeah, he didn't want me to have long hair either, like the scene haircut, you know, all that, skinny jeans. Hell no. Fuck no, not his son. So when I moved back with my mom, I started hanging out with those kids because I thought that shit was cool because it was the trend at the time. And
anything illicit and illegal is just exciting for us too, though.
Yes.
So any parents out there listening, if you maybe encourage them to go like vehemently towards what you don't want them to do. Just saying, maybe.
But yeah, it was Chiodos. We got my neighbor across the street was a skateboarder, and he asked if I've ever heard of this band, and I said no, and he put it on in the car, and I actually didn't like it at first. I was like, oh, I don't like this screaming. Like, I don't know. I didn't.
What is he saying?
Yeah, kinda. I was a little ignorant about it. I won't lie. But then I don't know. The next couple of days, it just kind of grew on me as I hung out with them. And then next thing you know, I'm listening to A Job for a Cowboy, Suicide Silence, Whitechapel, friggin' The Red Shore, Salt the Moon, all those like OG. I transitioned from like post-hardcore to like scene music to like once I discovered deathcore and stuff, I was like,
it's another level. It's really an intensity jump for sure.
Yeah. So I was listening to everything, but like deathcore was like something I was definitely interested in the vocals and everything like that back then.
What would be that first step towards you performing vocals, discovering your voice? Was it in the shower? Was it in the car? Those tend to be the two things that come out the most. The car mostly, but when did you start screaming and exploring making harsh sounds with your voice?
There was there was one incident that I decided that I was like, wow, I didn't know I could do anything like that. My friend Alex and my friend Dustin, when I was living in Port St. Lucie, I think I was 15. And we listened to like, you know, stuff like that all the time. Like I said, Job for a Cowboy, Whitechapel, you know, and then like other scene screaming music, stuff like that. He was just playing guitar off of fucking like a Line 6 amp, and he had like a Walmart guitar, and he was just playing some shitty breakdown, you know, the awful rhythm. And my other friend Dustin was trying to play drums. Like he was trying.
You're being real harsh on your friends here in your origin story there, but it's okay.
We were just, you know, we were kids. And they told me to grab the microphone and just try it. And I said, okay. And I was just like, I just screamed, and I heard a tone slightly out of the screaming. And I don't know. I thought it was cool. I kind of liked. We literally jammed for like an hour and a half of nonsense.
Oh, wow. That first time, and your voice held up.
Yeah, I know it did it. We were just going off and off and then cracking by the end. It was just, we were just having fun. But I liked it. And I think a few days later, once my voice came back, I started trying to cover songs at my house. My parents weren't home. And I was like, maybe I could do this, you know? And then I didn't really do vocals that much at all. I didn't do vocals in a band for probably well over a year after that, until I was like 16.
But you were playing in bands, but you were playing an instrument. No,
I never played an instrument either. I was never in a band or anything before that whole incident, like, or anything like that. I wanted to be, but I knew I wasn't good enough yet. And then I think I moved out of Port St. Lucie, moved over by Orlando area, Winter Haven. And then I started playing in bands over there. And then that's when I first started playing in bands. I think the band was called I Dream a Zombie. And the other one was Essence of a God. There's just some like classic old high school deathcore bands. And we were playing in like the Orlando area and stuff like that. And it was fun. I really found, I wouldn't say I found my calling, but I was just like, wow, this is like everything I wanted to do when I was 16. So it was a lot of fun.
You took 5 years off after doing all of that. How did you keep your voice in check? Did you keep screaming? I guess maybe at employees if you were a bad manager, but probably not.
Yeah, I actually didn't think about it. I didn't care. I actually stopped listening to majority of heavy music. I really tried to change. I don't know what I was doing with my life. I knew what I was doing with my life, but looking back on it, I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? You
wanted to go to school. You wanted to raise money to go to school, I'm assuming. And you're trying to be a serious adult.
Yes, those things. Have a 401k and house.
You can do that as a musician, but it takes a bit more time is the only problem.
There's a whole college stage as a musician. It's called local band, okay? Yeah.
That's super interesting. And then I'm glad. And then when you came back to it after the 5 years, how easy was it for you to jump back in vocally? Because sometimes when I take a break, it takes a little bit of a time for it to click back in.
Honestly, it wasn't that bad. I remember the first practice session. We had nowhere to practice. And so we practiced in my 2-bedroom apartment complex.
Your neighbors loved you. Yes.
Oh, they let us get away with it for 3 months, and then they finally called the cops.
3 months? They are
3 months.
Good neighbors. Those are good neighbors. My gosh. Yeah, I would get through half a song here, I think.
They let us go for a few hours.
With drums?
Drums. I'm talking everything.
Wow.
I had no other option. I wanted to play music.
You should thank them in all your CD liners as if we have CD liners. But
yeah, they were very nice people until they called the cops. But even then, they were nice.
After 3 months, I would be like, yeah, we've been waiting. This is a miracle. My gosh, my high school band played I had a party in my backyard, and we were practicing on the back deck where we were going to play that night, and we got through 2 songs, I think, and the cops were there. So we had to play inside, and that was okay. It was still cool, but yeah, not as cool as us on the deck. You imagine scenes when you're in high school, or you envision how things are going to be. It wasn't quite how I imagined it, but it was still fun.
No, yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. No, yeah, it was something. It was something. Yeah.
And your voice just popped right back in, which is great.
Yeah, it was. I remember the session. Because how I write vocals and stuff, I'll just do like a vocal pattern. I won't even necessarily be saying words or lyrics.
Oh yeah, that comes later sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll record it with like a cell phone and stuff. So. I mean, throughout those 5 years, I didn't stop doing vocals altogether. They would still be shower sessions of me just singing, or I even got into singing some punk songs like from the Menzingers or Joyce Manor and stuff like that. And I didn't stop doing vocals altogether, but there was definitely no like sessions like I have now to make sure, I'm crisp for tour. I'm ready for this.
Recording pre. People don't understand. They think that you should rest your voice as much as you can.
Yeah.
So that you're ready for studio. But it's the opposite for us. I'm best on tour.
Yeah. Last tour we did, I was very happy with my performance. I didn't have one bad night of my voice being blown out. 15 days. It was 15 shows. We only had 1 day off. It was the run we did with Filth. It was easy.
1 day off. That's easy. Come on.
I even got on the tour and still sounded good. I was happy.
we have a bit more of a test for your voice coming up. The Necomanteum Tour Part II coming up in October. You are doing routing dates in and out. So you mentioned right before we push record on this, you're doing about 45 days of touring. You're going to test your voice then. So talk to me about getting ready for that. And obviously you're going to be fine. And talk to me about just the tour in general. Carnifex, Organectomy, Cryptopsy, Mental Cruelty. You guys, when this tour came together, how did you feel? Were you stoked? Give me the rundown of when you got the pitch.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the rundown when we got the pitch was, ironically, I don't know if you know this, how we even got on this tour.
I know nothing about this tour, so it's super fun.
Oh, awesome. This is one of my favorite stories ever. First off, shout out Scott. He is a real one, and he is a very, very nice human being, and I love him. He started following us on Instagram last year around, I want to say September. He found us on Instagram. He started following us. He would periodically like some of our shit.
That's something that you notice because you're running socials, or one of your crew members running socials. Like, oh shit, Scott Ian's following us. Anthrax motherfuckers. And you're like, no, not that Scott Ian. But yeah. No, I'm sorry.
So we're like, wow, Scott's following us from Carnifex, and some other guys, did. There was a few other people that had reached out to help out with us too with some things, but random. I knew he was following us, and he would like our shit. Like, and it wouldn't just be the memes he would like. He would like something if I posted a live clip of us. He would like it. He would like some clips of our like upcoming music and stuff like that. We had a tour. A DIY tour that I booked before we had an agent with our friend Backslide, and they're from Augusta, Georgia. Great band, fucking great band. We were doing a tour with them, and I posted the flyer on our socials, obviously to promote it. And someone commented on the flyer and was like, "Hey, you guys should tour with Carnifex. That would be fucking hard," or something like that. And I just got the idea. I was like, I'm just gonna tag Scott in the comment and see what happens. I'm just gonna be like, "Hey, Scott," I think I tagged Scott and said, "What do you think?" or like, "Let's make it happen," or something like that. And this motherfucker responded and said he's about it. Send me your contact info. And it was pretty much gravy from there. I sent him the contact info. He said he'd get back to me. It wouldn't be till later in 2024, but he definitely would make it happen. And he wasn't lying. He kept his word. And he got with our agent, or his agent got with our agent, and it all came together. And we honestly couldn't believe it when we got the email. We were shocked. My agent was shocked because when he signed us in February with Dynamic Talent International, I told him about this, and I was like, "Hey, by the way, I forgot to tell you that I actually have this really good lead with Carnifex." And he was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "Give me the info right now. I'll hit up their agent. I'll get this going." Absolutely. And I was like, "Okay, here you go." And shout out to Jake as well. He did do a great job. He was in there from day one. As soon as I told him about the tour and like our foot in the door with Scott and everything, he made sure it happened. You know what I mean? He hit them up. It was awesome. It was really great. I couldn't believe it. Like, it was something that, I mean, I wouldn't say we'd expect would never happen for us, but I just didn't think it would be this soon. But very, very cool. Very, very cool. And I really just can't be appreciative to Scott. That's really much it.
Hell yes. And perfect lesson right here. Take chances, people. Shoot for the sky. Aim for what you want and hit people up sometimes. The worst case scenario, they're going to say no.
My mother taught me that. Yes. The worst they can say is no. And
it changes nothing. No is not a no forever either. You hit them back up again in a year. But that's super cool. I love that. I'm happy that that happened and that you're a part of this run. We're going to hang out a lot. We're going to have a lot of fun. Cryptopsy Camp, where we're easygoing people, and we'll enjoy some beers and have some fun and load it in together and play a bunch of sold out shows, I'm assuming. We're going all across Canada, which is something that Cryptopsy hasn't done in a very long time. We're not going to the Maritimes before anyone comments. I know you're going to comment this. I would love to go to the Maritimes. It's going to happen, not a part of this tour, but I'm very excited to go back to Alberta, Saskatchewan, which we haven't been in forever, and back to Winnipeg, which is just awesome. I love being there. It's going to be super sick. Very, very happy. You just had to sell a bunch of shirts or pre-orders. Merch, over 300 packages shipped out, which is a horrible thing to do, and I think that you're just a very nice person for doing it still. Thank God. Indie Merch, shout out to Indie Merch for doing that for us, because I don't have the patience for that, and or the printer ink. Because you recorded in LA, and recording in LA is expensive. Talk to me about that, recording new material. If you can talk about it. I know that sometimes we can't talk too much about stuff.
No, we can definitely talk about it. I can't say who we signed to just yet, but we did sign to a label. That will all be revealed on September 4th. We're putting out our new single and music video, No Mercy, No Remorse. We recorded it with Austin Coop. He's a great producer. He just got done working with Devil Wears Prada. He's done Psycho Frame. He's done Old Tactosa. He's done he used to be in the band Prison. He was in the band Adalia. He's a great producer. Like, honestly, he's the first producer I really, really worked with that, like, when you go in there and you sit down with him, he feels like he's in your band. And, like, when you guys cook up something
sick, this extra member type,
exactly.
That's indispensable as a producer.
Yeah, I that's why I flew out of Florida, like, to go record with him, because he was in Florida right before all this happened and everything. Last summer, we recorded Paved in Blood with him in Lakeland, Florida. And then a few months later, he got a crazy offer to go work with some mainstream artists up there and moved to LA, and he took the chance. So I said, I'll see you in LA when we get the chance.
Cool. And that's awesome that you, as like a, I'm not going to say brand loyalty, but loyalty towards that relationship, that extra band member experience, you took the brunt of the, I'm going to take this expense and go out there.
Yes. I was like, we got to go out there. I knew that we weren't ever going to get to the next level if we didn't go record with him again. Like, I knew that he has the sauce. He's the right fit for the producer, you know what I mean? And that's something I learned as I went, that, you know, you can't just go to any producer, and not every producer is going to work for every band, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean they're a bad producer, but that relationship, that click, it's there, and I can tell. And that's something that's very important to writing and it's important for your music, I think, for it to be original, that you have someone that's working on it that's just as stoked as you are about it. Like, that's awesome. Like, I love that about him so much. And he's like that with every project he does, which is really good, you know? So
how much do you guys come prepared with him if he's that involved as a producer? Do you go there with pieces missing, expecting that relationship to move the material to its final state? Or do you guys really pre-prod, demo everything, and then show up with it basically finished?
We normally, so this period, we signed to the label. We got the offer from the label. We did the whole legal negotiations for almost 2 months, got signed. And then as soon as we got signed, it was like go time. They wanted an EP by, you know, they wanted us in the studio by June. And it was, I think we signed, February, March. I think it was March.
Okay, so it's like now. Yeah.
Yeah, and
did you have anything in the tank, like stuff's kicking around?
Or really? No,
because it's two separate entities. Like, people don't get that when we're touring and writing mode are two completely different modes.
I know some bands can write on tour, and I know that's because they are fluent with a DAW or like, you know, and
even that, it's super hard because we just did it. And it's not a comfortable experience for the person that's in charge of the writing.
I remember I saw that band. I don't know if you heard of this band called Microwave, but I could have sworn I remember watching an old documentary from 10 years ago, and they were doing that exact thing, and it looks so crazy.
It's not fun. It's completely two different mindsets. And Chris Donaldson, I just had to sit there and drink beer and encourage him to write. I'm just screaming riffs at them as they're joking and getting them back on track. But it's Chris that really had to really push himself to write. Yeah.
And we can't do that on tour because we write everything together and live.
Room. That's sick. That's something like the whole modern Cryptopsy era. It's not that anymore. It's all in the studio.
I want to keep it like that. as long as we can. You know what I mean? I feel like that's where the magic happens.
I
feel like that's what makes heavy hitter. But anyway, back to the process though. We only had a limited time, and we didn't have anything in the tank because the drummer that we have right now, Josh, he had just recently joined the band, I think in February or like middle of February. Like he joined during the negotiations. He's the drummer in the Paved in Blood music video, LCY. He originally was a fill-in for our OG drummer. Things just didn't work out with the OG drummer. He's actually the drummer in this new deathcore band called Peacemaker. They're a great band. Definitely check them out if you ever can. But we got Josh in February. Amazing drummer, great guy. We just had to go. Like, it was crazy. We had a 2-week tour with Filth. We did that. We got back. We spent 3 weeks just writing, like meeting up at least twice a week. And Dane lives all the way in West Palm, so he was driving up and back like 2 times a week. Yeah.
Good job, Dane. Sacrifice Dane. It's good.
Yeah. So we wrote everything live. I pretty much just made sure that we had the guts of everything. You know, like we had the basics, we had the blueprints, we could play a whole song. You know, I didn't have lyrics or vocals for pretty much all of it. I had to write all that in the studio in LA, which I hated.
Yeah, I was going to say that's great. Tough. Yeah, it came out great, but I want this new material that we're starting to work on. I want it to be the meaning of the song just a little bit more deeper than just something about revenge or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, they're great songs, don't get me wrong, and they have great meanings. You want it to have more meat because you're going to get asked a lot of questions, which is why I like to write about. Like, I was inspired, and I've said it a bunch of times. Travis Ryan from Cattle Decapitation has a message behind his lyrics, and I inspired myself by that because I knew, doing what I do right here, that I was going to get a lot of asked. I was going to get asked a lot of questions about the new record, and I wanted to actually have something to say, which is what I did, talking about humans' relationship with the internet. So get through this EP and just talk about how revenge is awesome, and then you can ponder and dream and come up with something that has a bit more meat on it that you'll be satisfied about.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, like I said, I love the EP. I think everyone will love it. We're going to be playing it every night on the tour. The whole point is to
promote it. We got to do it.
Yeah, promote it. Yeah, and I'm excited. I am excited to play these new songs. I think they're a crazy step up. But Austin, we just come to him with the blueprints, demo versions that we do down here, pre-pro, and then he just spices them up. Like, it's not something that like we're not there for. It's like we're in the studio and we're all cooking on an idea of like, how can we make this part that much better?
That's cool. You guys are all there together all the time.
Yes.
That's cool. You guys write all together, and then when studio stuff is happening, you're all there making this baby, basically. You can say, if we want to take that analogy.
Because what if someone has an idea that you never would have thought about?
Which happens, totally,
That happens so much in the studio, especially because I recorded vocals in front of all of them sitting right there. And
that's not stressful whatsoever.
I mean,
it's not. Like, it's not. People would think it is. Maybe like, but then they're like your family. They're. It's like our wives, and it's like they're our family. It's not an issue. They're not there judging you. It's you're performing. It's
exactly
what we do.
Exactly. I wanted their input on it and stuff like that. This is a lot of money went into this record. It's our debut. It's going to change everything for us. The label, I know, is very, very excited about it. They can't wait to put it out.
That's sick.
I don't know. A lot of went into it, and it was a lot of fun. And I feel like we did it we just handled it so well, from the signing to the 2 tours. So we did the tour with Filth, and then we had a week run playing with All Shall Perish. We played that big Texas Metal Fest down in Texas. Yeah. That was awesome. That was a great festival. And then we got back and we had to crunch out, and then flew out. We were in LA for 2 weeks. Los Angeles was beautiful. It was awesome, man. We recorded the drums in the mountains somewhere, like right outside of It's Pasadena.
That makes sense.
I'm so bad with it.
Yeah, no, that to me that adds up. But I live in Canada, so
yeah. I know we're playing over there. I know we're playing in that area.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully the other Austin, the producer, comes out, and I can meet him.
I think he is. That
would make me happy.
Yes. Yeah.
I have one last question. It probably doesn't happen to you too much anymore because you lived 5 years of debauchery, and it definitely happened to you then. But not so much anymore because you're much more responsible and you're in charge of a lot of things. You're running a band. You're living your dream. But every once in a while, it happens to everyone, and it's hypothetically going to happen to us maybe once or twice on the upcoming tour. What is your hangover cure?
Oh, that is a good one. I think all right, I know the answer to this. And if I can do it before I go to bed when I'm drunk, it's the best. All right. You got to you got to drink Gatorade, chug a Gatorade.
Which color? Because the Gatorade comes up a lot.
Okay, so I would say blue is the best for this one.
That's mine. Blue. Yes. Yeah, and other people have said that too. Yeah.
I would say blue is the one. And I normally would drink a blue Gatorade, two Advils, 2 ibuprofens, anything like that. I normally wake up. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty hydrated. I feel good. Take a shower. I'll be fine. If I don't do that, I'm probably going to die. I will probably wake up.
The Gatorade, the ibuprofen, but before bed. See, that's an extra great step. That's like drunk Austin thinking of future Austin, which is good. I like showers, and that's one of my hangover cures, which is going to be hard on the tour. We'll have to stop at a Flying J, but I'm not sure if that's an experience I want when I'm hungover.
We're the Planet Fitness crew.
Okay, that's smart. A lot of bands do that. Yeah.
Yeah. How's the Flying J's? Are those? How are those?
They're hit or miss. They're expensive. They used to be a lot cheaper, but if you can sneak a few people not in at the same time, but one after another type thing, it's reasonable. Or if you become really good friends with the tour bus driver, they tend to have a lot of points that they can share around from experience too. But you got to be nice. Well, you should always be nice to the tour bus people. The tour bus people, not the tour bus drivers. Because they're professionals and they're taking care of our lives.
Yes, they're driving while I'm sleeping. Well, not on this run. I'm driving while everyone else is asleep. We all drive.
Rotate.
Yeah, it's going to be fun pulling up next to you guys in our Chevy 2500 with our little tinny mini U-Haul van. Trailer, whatever.
I'm going to do a guest list for beer people. Actually, I should do this. I should say this right now because I'm dropping these episodes before the tour. I will be giving away guest lists for craft beer. So when I have a surplus of that in the tour bus, I will be fueling your drives, which you shouldn't be doing, but you can maybe stop and get out and drink them. Hypothetically, I keep saying hypothetically.
Yes, I can get down with that.
Legally drink them. Austin, thank you so much for taking the time hanging out with me, talking about life, talking about music, talking about the Cryptopsy, Carnifex, Mental Cruelty, Organectomy, Heavy Hitter tour that's coming up, into the Necomanteum Part II tour that's coming up in October. Grab your tickets, people. It's going to be a blast. Austin, this is great. Thank you so very much.
Hey, thank you, Matt. I appreciate you, okay? I'll see you soon, buddy.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. You know that I love and appreciate that. Man, this was an awesome hang. I love doing episodes such as these. I love connecting with musicians that I'm going to spend a lot of time with on tour, before the tour, to get to know them, to break the ice. That way, when I jump out onto the road with them, I have such a better and in-depth relationship with those musicians already. I did that with Kelly Schaefer from Atheist before we went out on that tour, and it worked. Me and Kelly hit it off deeply during the interview, and then we became even better friends on that tour back in February. I'm hoping that the same thing happens with me and Austin. I really enjoyed this conversation, and all of you fans out there should definitely check out Heavy Hitter if you haven't already. I love that Scott is a man of his word and put him on this tour, and I cannot wait to hang out with them each and every night. It's going to be a blast. Grab your tickets, people, if you have not already. The Necomanteum tour is coming in October, and it's going all over the States and most of Canada this time. It's going to be a blast. Massive cheers to Austin for hanging out with me. I deeply, deeply appreciate that, and I can't wait to hang out some more. The Vox and Hops Metal Podcast is brought to you by Sound Talent Media and Evergreen Podcasts. I hope that you have a killer rest of the week. I will be back next week with another episode on Tuesday, but until then, remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.